Welcome to another Telltale Books video. I'm Greg, and I am going to talk about a new writer today. Well, not exactly a new writer, but one that I haven't ever covered before in any of our videos. And that is Walter M. Miller Jr. And yes, I am going to be doing a deep dive, going through everything I can get my hands on. You probably know Walter M. Miller Jr. if you know the name at all, because you're familiar with A Canticle for Leibowitz, his Hugo Award-winning novel, which actually kind of came at the end of his career. He published one novel after that, but that wasn't published until after his death. It was unfinished. It was finished off by Terry Bisson and published. So it's hard to say if he actually was writing it all those years or if he actually wrote it shortly after Canticle for Leibowitz was published and then set it aside and stopped writing. I don't know. But he wrote most of what he wrote during the 1950s, including the stories that were assembled together to make up A Canticle for Leibowitz. And he started with a story called Secret of the Death Dome. This was published in Amazing Stories in January of 1951. Walter M. Miller himself was born January 23rd, 1923, and died January 9th, 1996. So he was almost 30 years old when he published this. And it kind of shows that this, he's so many science fiction writers, you go back to the very first stories they published as teenagers. Walter M. Miller was almost 30 years old at the time that he published his first story, and it shows because it's not nearly so amateurish. So what is Secret of the Death Dome about? Is it about priests after a nuclear war? Absolutely not. It's very different from Canticle for Leibowitz and a much more traditional science fiction story. In it, you have Martians invading the Earth. Well, they kind of invade the Earth. They don't really come in and take over gangbusters like War of the Worlds. They just come with one dome-shaped craft, and they land in the desert. I think it's in Arizona. And they capture people and perform experiments on them, usually killing them. But the Martians are completely emotionless. They don't understand what the big deal is when people get upset about other people being killed. And they are able to communicate through radio with the humans, and they basically just say, we just want to learn. We're just trying to find out. Well, they're trying to find out because they do want to come to Earth and take over the Earth. They want to basically, well, it wouldn't be terraform, it would be Martianiform. I don't know. Marsiform, what the word would be. But they want to convert the Earth to have a more conducive environment for them to live here. And being from a planet that has no oceans, water is a problem for them. They do need some moisture to live, but the kind of moisture like we have, like if they were caught in the rain, it would kill them. It would be practically corrosive to them. This one soldier who was given the duty of being at this dome and making sure things are secure, he gets captured by the aliens and killed. He has a wife, and his wife wants revenge. So his best friend gets put on duty at the dome then, and his best friend then goes and tries to figure out a way to get into the dome and succeeds, and is going to try to stop these he wants to find out why they are on Earth, why they are doing this to people, and he wants to stop them. Okay. Pretty standard science fiction plot. The water thing is a neat twist. The writing is very good. It's it's a pretty tense science fiction adventure story. It's a novelette length, so a little bit longer, but not long enough to really get deep into world building or deep into character. But it still is an exciting, fun story for how long it lasts. And you do have things wrapped up pretty nicely and resolved pretty nicely. And it's a good story. It's not a great story. It's not a Top's Tale, but it is a good, fun story. It is a recommended read for somebody that can... I mean, it's a little bit better than, like, the earlier kinds of science fiction, like Saga of Pelican West. This is way better than that story. And it is enjoyable. So if you're looking for just a light science fiction adventure and are okay with something from the 1950s, the writing is good. The writing is solid here. Walter M. Miller was a terrific writer, and it's really a shame. I mean, I'm sure he has his reasons. And you can't go, if somebody decides to stop writing or stop painting, that's a personal decision on their part. And you can't go saying, oh, how sad it was that they didn't do more work. They gave you what they wanted to give you, and then they stopped. And you have to be happy with what they gave you, or tough, So, he didn't write much after Canticle for Leibowitz. I'm sure he had his reasons for that. But at least he did leave us with some very nice science fiction stories and at least one classic. I'm going to find out if there are any more classics, though. I'm going to go through everything I can get my hands on by Walter M. Miller and try to see if there are other stories comparable to Canticle for Leibowitz from the rest of his output. And I hope you'll join me for that. If you have read Secret of the Death Dome, leave your comments. Leave comments about Walter M. Miller. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and come on back because I'm going to be here doing them.